how this team can perform.
Yeah, I am as well. Frosty, very good player in his own right. Let's see if they can adapt and keep that level of play that we expect from these guys. It's game number 1, Skill Cap DU versus Reload Esports.
You know the new trick, Vanguards? I feel like it's Vanguards pioneered this new trick. As a Ret Paladin, when you have mind games, you're usually afraid, right? Like you can't heal yourself. But you know what you can do? You can use Word of Glory on your healer and break Polymorph, because Word of Glory will do damage. So I'm wondering if we see any sort of like mind games, Word of Glory to break polymorphs, that could completely change the matchup. Because usually you remove all the healing when you mind games the Ret, but the Ret can actually get the Shaman out of polymorph. So I really want to see that.
That just reminds me, this one weird trick will make mages hate you. Just like but early start here on Mystic, and for the Shadow Priest mage, it's going to be all about just bursting down Mystic with these big combustions. And Morrow looking to get aggressive early on, but it's actually Frosty almost getting immediately deleted here by Mystic, and Mercy forced into that dispersion. Skill Cap DU, they do manage to recover, but at the expense of some major cooldowns. And Morrow actually ice blocks as well. What? That just seemed like it was not worth it, but Morrow obviously willing to trade out the ice block, maybe even a bait for them to go after him instead. Beautifully done there by Lone Tar as well, avoiding that Dragon's Breath with the Fleshcraft, and that will unfortunately not allow Morrow to land the crowd control he'd like to find.
Oh, nice win share as well there by Lontar. He dispels himself on the Nova as well. Yeah, he can't do anything. Now there's a grounding totem, and now he's going to pre-earthen wall the sheep there. I haven't played against Lontar. I've seen this movie too many times. Excellently played there by him. And Morrow is actually running adaptation here. So he's going to get hexed a decent amount, and that's his answer for hex, for warrior fears, anything like that. He's just going to trinket the first thing that hits him. Prophecy! Ooh, he drops dangerously low there. Asgarath with the sacrifice coming in right there on 1%, saving the day here. But sacrifice damage is redirected now to Asgarath, and that has been changed, so he's taking a lot more damage. There's a full rep now onto Asgarath. He trinkets out of that. Prophecy with a big Shadowman DoorDash coming in here, but he's not going to be able to get that off. And big damage coming out now from Prophecy as well with that Void Eruption, looking to kind of turn the pressure around, but they already got the trinket from Asgarath with that Repentance, so they're happy to take that trade on the side of Reload, and now they're looking to get aggressive here once again. Morrow looking to play spoilers here, trying to get some crowd control. Mystic dropping dangerously low here still. Lontar, how are you going to keep him alive against Dragon's Breath? But he lands the wind shear right there. Morrow with the combustion gets hexed on it there. Nicely done there by Lontar, winning a lot of these mage exchanges here, but Morrow's been looking extremely scary so far in this matchup. He's just throwing out his ice block immediately, playing adaptation, just not scared whatsoever here. And Prophecy is just basically the tank for the team so far.
Mystic is playing Vengeance Aura. He's playing like a really high damage build in this time around, so taking some gambles potentially. And I mean, they're winning on mana. They've been forcing a lot of cooldowns. They get Dispersion here on this Divine Toll. Mystic now gets blasted down by Morrow, though. Lone Tar's in a Polymorph, stun on Mystic. Mind Games. Is he going to break the Polymorph with the Mind Games? He's holding. It didn't look like it was able to be landed, or was dispelled off by Lone Tar, but Mystic is now silenced at low health, managing to recover. They need to deny Asgarath from drinking while still getting pressure on Prophecy, and I feel like Morrow is almost like BM on this Fire Mage. He's taunting them, just standing like in melee range of them, playing ADAP, blocking CC. Oh, that's going to be a kill. Immediately resetting Combustion on Shifting Power and just popping Combustion before that Protection Legendary came off cooldown, totally catching them off guard and absolutely erasing them.
I gotta see that replay because they still had a lot of tools.
They had every button
left to work with. Literally every button, and that game was not going bad for them at all. But Skill Cap DU, they're going to be more than happy to pick up that game, pick up that first win, which is really, really important in a series like this, especially when it can be so back and forth. But yeah, that replay, when we look at it, I really do feel like this team, Reload Esports, they pretty much had every defensive cooldown available. The only thing they didn't have is Lone Tar. He's playing Relentless, so he's got no trinket available. But Mystic definitely had answers to keep himself alive.
Yeah, so
like
here
he's never
Morrow
been hit so hard in his life before. Like,
really? I don't think it was that. Let's see. I actually don't.
He
think it was
disappears
that
from like 40% health. Like Morrow resets Combustion. I think he goes Shifting Power. They don't stop it. He gets a couple of fireballs. and then he just immediately shoves Combust after this fireball. He gets it off, Combust is up, and 3, 2, 1, pop dead. I mean, Lone Tar even pre-earthened. Like, Lone Tar was like, oh, you're about to take damage. I'll earthen. Oh.
That was a weird one, because I don't even feel like that was much combustion damage, to be honest with you. It was like 20% of his health, maybe.
Might have been death range, too.
I think, I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure Maru was playing no Meteor spec.
Yeah, he is.
Because he was resetting his combust really fast, so I'm pretty sure he's playing, what was it, Kindling?
Kindling. Yeah, he's playing Kindling for sure.
I think he's playing Kindling, he's playing Night Fae, probably using Discipline of the Grove as well. Just playing max combust reset. Well, if you nerf combust reset, you can always stack a few more talents to reset it. I like it.
All right, skill capped EU, not really missing a beat there. Looked like kind of an easy game for them. Went really smoothly game number 1 here, and now Reload Esports on the back foot. They're gonna have to choose their map going into game number 2 here, and skill capped EU looking solid with this new roster, Supatis.
Yeah, I mean the Shadow Priest Mage is I feel like a lot of Rets would be more afraid of Ellie Mage, but the way that game went with Morrow playing Adapt to get out of crowd control seemed like he was way more difficult to kind of bully around. We saw, I think, Livin playing Mage, and remember him getting hexed over and over and over. But with Adapt to be able to get out of those crowd control chains, it seems like it's almost completely changed the matchup. Morrow is just focused on doing maximum damage. And I mean, they ended that game very fast. I feel like we went into deep dampening when we saw teams playing this matchup in the past. So if I was Reload Esports, I wouldn't be too comfortable. You had answers, but there's always a lot of burst damage available from Fire Mage. So they seem to be a little bit more ready. I expect them to go to a smaller map, and I think they'll try Shadow Priest Warrior on the smaller map if skill capped you blind lock Shadow Priest Mage.
Ben?
Yeah, I do remember that was actually their what they decided to go with. But skill capped EU, they have some options too. I feel like, how bad is, I don't know if we've seen it, how bad is Shadow Priest Warrior? Like, let's say skill capped EU decides to tag in Blizzo in this matchup. Is that a terrible matchup? Shadow Priest Warrior Paladin against the Ret Warrior? Probably not great. Probably not the best, but maybe it's okay on the small map.
I wouldn't want to be
what
a
about
Shadow
Mage
Priest.
Warrior?
Oh, there you go.
They're not actually going to go to Shadow Priest Warrior on either side. That's interesting.
Okay.
It's really interesting for Reload
Esports
Esports, because I feel like they were the team that played that, and they won this matchup like pretty convincingly too. It looked good. So,
Well, I think
surprised to see that.
I think this got to be the matchup that Reload wanted. Like I can't see any other way, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's not the scariest wizard setup. I feel like as Ret particularly, you're much more afraid of like Boomkin Ellie and Ellie in general. So
Ellie Fire.
Yeah, I feel like you can win as the Ret cleaves into spellcasters that don't have Ellies. And it's really just because usually the Ret only gets erased by Ellie damage. But that game, Morrow is like cosplaying Ellie Shaman a little bit. So I think you just kind of write off that game like, yeah, okay, well, we have to pay really close attention to Combustion, Timer, and trade Divine Shield if I'm below half health with no Prot Legendary.
What do you do about the fact that Morrow is playing the way he is? Like, what do you do about the fact that he's just...
him.
I think you attack him.
I think so too,
I think
right?
you don't let him
He's
just...
a night elf.
He's an adept night elf. Just Stormbolt. Every
He's an
Stormbolt,
adept
he's
night
stuck.
elf. Yeah, every Stormbolt, he's stuck and susceptible to Divine Toll. He's just throwing away Ice Block all willy-nilly. Like, he's playing...
Yeah, I have to
He's playing no
agree.
Battle Masters also. Keep that in mind. No Battle Masters, so... The greediest mage. I need to punish him for sure.
I want that chef hat.
Did you see the little dance he did?
Yeah, he's excited. Oh, he's taunting them.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't transmog that chef hat.
You can?
You cannot, no.
Come on, that needs to be patched in right now.
There's also, what are they called? Like those things that you roll over like the dough, you know?
Whoa!
To make it flat?
The rollers? I think it's just called
Rolling
a roller.
pin?
Oh, rolling
Oh, yeah,
pin.
rolling. Yeah,
Ben's got
exactly. You can't transmog those either. I wanted to make a baker transmog when we had a bakery in the band. But yeah, anyway. Back to the game here.
All right, Frofsy's the target. Once again, they're ignoring Maro. Oh, a reflect on a polymorph. Nicely done. Frofsy has to use dispersion. The map's already paying dividends here for the Retribution Paladin Warriors. He can get a ton of crowd control out and pressure on target in this particular matchup. And I'm wondering if Mystics changed his build at all, as he was running a very aggressive damage build in game number 1. And it looks like he's actually decided to drop the Vengeance Aura, going back for the Lawbringer, getting more % health, but he's low on health. Mind Games being cast, a Master Spell preempting the bubble, not finding it. Mystic is just going to bubble. He's afraid of the combustion, doesn't want to get erased, and this is way higher pressure than we've seen in previous weeks of this matchup. I feel like this was a much slower game in the past, but the damage output on both sides is quite high.
I'm just genuinely confused. I feel like Lontar should be playing Gladiator's Medallion. Like, he should be playing a Trinket to get out of crowd control. Frosty right now gets interrupted. Sacrifice does trade. Mystic now is just dead. I don't know why. I feel like Lontar is literally throwing the game by not having the Medallion, because it's just one less cooldown they have to rotate through. Polymorph, Divine Shield. Polymorph, win the game. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this choice. I feel like skill cap to you, these wins they're getting, they're being given these wins. I mean, they're playing great, but at the same time, I really do feel like this team is kind of fumbling here in this series.
Yep, struggling a little bit here on the side of Reload Esports. Now skill cap to use on match point here, and there is game number 2. We can see how it all went down, Zico.
I want to know what actually forced this bubble. That's got to be Frofsy's damage right there, doing most of the work to get that, maybe with the Mind Games as well. And then here they get a Hex on tomorrow, adaptation procs, shifting power. He's going to reset his Dragon's Breath and everything. Gets a grounding right there. He kills it off. Maro is rooted right now, and he double blinks to get a sheep out of the fear. They get the perfect Hammer of Justice set up, and that's just the game. I mean, Maro barely got to touch him with that combustion. I feel like Frofsy did a lot of work here, actually, this game. He was kind of the unsung hero of this game. We're going to see here. Yeah, look at his damage. He was the target as well by, I guess every single interrupt except for maybe with like the Shaman Wind Shear. And he's still able to tie Maro in damage and do more damage than the Warrior and the Ret. So he's, pretty good performance by both of them.
He's full YOLO Shadow Priest. He's the Shadow Priest build that I want to play, that my team never lets me play. He's driven to madness, lasting plague, no void shift. He's full aggro Shadow Priest. And I feel like he always does way more damage as a result of running this build, and it's working. It's working for them. It also provides him a lot of healing with Lasting Plague. If Mystic's unable to dispel Devouring Plague, by it lasting longer, it means that it's also healing him longer. So it's a little bit of a sustained build when you know the Shadow Priest is going to be a target. And the fact that that was their map pick and it ended so quickly, and I mean, they got Bubble without Combust. I'm not confident in this comp anymore. I mean, Reload Esports should definitely change the trinkets. Like, Lontar shouldn't be playing Relentless, but I would much rather see them try their Shadow Priest Warrior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to have to see what they do here heading into game number 3, Reload Esports. Very, very close to facing the lower bracket here in this series. This is another best of 5-1, so they're going to have to turn something around here in this draft process. We're going to see if they decide to switch up their composition, or maybe a different map is the key, Ben.
They're going to a small map. This doesn't reveal too much information. I really want to see Valet being tagged in this match. I feel like the Warrior Shadow Priest Shaman, really, really great answer for what Skill Cap to You is bringing. I mean, maybe Skill Cap to You play it in a way where Reload Esports, they've had practice into each other and now they're not confident in the matchup, something like that behind the scenes. But I really feel like Reload Esports, they could be lasting a lot longer in this matchup. Normally, this is a matchup that goes 30% dampening, and then you see like some Hail Mary one shot from the mage with no crowd control is how the game normally ends. But these are just, they're getting 2 setups and winning the game. So Reload Esports, they are going to be making a change. So bring in the Shadow Priest Warrior, and I think this matchup is going to be looking a lot better for them with that Shadow Priest support.
All right, Reload Esports bringing in Valet. Excellent Shadow Priest that these guys have. So it's good that they're bringing them out here when they're feeling the pressure here, moving down to the lower bracket. Zico, how do you feel like this matchup's going to look now that they're deciding to bring out their Shadow Priest?
Well, I think this matchup party is still in favor of fan of watching, Frofsy versus Villet. These are, I mean, we have Zot as well in Europe, but that's about it. That's the 3 Shadow Priests that you want to be playing with. So seeing, the absolute best here go head to head is always exciting. Going to be interesting to see, kind of what they decide to do with their builds and everything, covenants and so on. But matchup wise, I still got to give this one to Skill Capped here. I feel like they have more crowd control. They have more ways to win the game. The one thing that I'll give in favor of Reload is the map. I would say, if you're having a warrior in the game, at least having that warrior on a small map is going to be a lot more effective than having him on a big map. I wonder actually why they didn't go for a big map and play Warlock Shadow Priest. Reload, they played that in the past, right? And it didn't look too bad.
Well, on Tuesday, it'll look really good on Tuesday. I feel like before Tuesday, you can still lose even if you live deep in a dampening. I think like we've seen Chanimal try and do it in an A, and they still get just 1 tap deep in dampening. I think the Shadow Resist Aura, while it's currently here until Tuesday, is just kind of gatekeeping all of the dot cleaves out. So I would actually be, maybe they do it because they have no other option on a big map. But then if they do that, what if they just run Warrior Mage, Skill Capped EU? I feel like they'll just destroy. They could play Windwalker Mage or Warrior Mage. And they just destroy Shadow Priest Warlock. So they're kind of they're going to lose in both situations. They need to win this game, and they could still lose. I feel like Shadow Priest Mage is a comp, especially the way Frofsy and Maro playing. I mean, Frofsy is a new addition to this team, but they're clean. Like I haven't seen any real significant flaws. If anything, they're looking like one of the most impressive Shadow Priest Mages we've seen. To be able to kill a Ret Paladin team before dampening multiple times is quite a feat.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Valet right now. Big setup here. Maro's going to be using his combustion. He's playing the Meteor this time. So that surprise attack from the Meteor almost dropping Valet immediately. And Mercy going down as well. Big damage. Big early hit here by Skill Capped U. Still, I mean, Lontar is forced to trade out his Ascendance almost instantaneously. That was Dispersion. That was Ascendance. Honestly, Reload Esports, this is... I feel like they can stabilize and strike back, but not a great opener for them.
Yeah, actually, Lontar is playing Trinket, and he got Ring of Frost. And now he got Spell Reflected on a Polymorph earlier. That probably would have meant his Trinket as well in that exchange. You got a Resheep here onto Lontar, Dragon's Breath as well, and they have the damage to take out Mercy. It doesn't look like it. One big Shadowman there from Frofsy, all that he needs. I think Frofsy might be playing the Shadowman Legendary as well. Gonna see Mercy still dropping dangerously low here. Quite a lot of damage. There's a silence onto Lontar, and he had to use his Dwarf Racial right there. He gets polyed, but he pre-Spirit Links it, seeing as he can't Trinket because he just used his Dwarf Racial on that Fear. He has to pre-link it and break out of his own crowd control with that Spirit Link. Nice preemptive plays here, but still, so far it's not looking good for Reload. I mean, Mercy has already used the Rallying Cry. They've already used a lot of Lontar's cooldown, like the Spirit Link, and now finally there's some pressure here onto Frofsy. Asgraf gets silenced, disarmed here, and they do get a Stormbolt here onto Frofsy, forcing out the dispersion. But look at that nice fear there by Frofsy, fears him from down below. Maro, can he get the Ring of Frost? He gets it. DR Ring of Frost though. Mercy might have dropped a Warbanner there. I'm not sure exactly why that was DR'd. Mercy still dropping dangerously low here, trading out his die by the sword here as well, and still more crowd control there onto Lontar. And since that poly was half and it was 4 seconds, I'm gonna assume that was a war banner on that first sheep as well. So Mercy definitely playing well to keep himself alive there, and keeping Lontar from using his trinket in that exchange.
All right, crowd control and Lontar with the Dragon's Breath, but no follow-up. Lontar goes for Hex. And Maro is not running Adaptation in this matchup, perhaps anticipating himself as the target, not wanting to risk it here. Lontar just spamming Hexes on the mage, getting a lot of value here. Maro is chasing Lontar as a frog to try and return the favor with a Polymorph, but gets wind sheared, now line of sighted. Mercy is still chasing down Frofsy on the outskirts of the map. Mercy charging over to Maro for a swap in the Stormbolt. Maro going to trinket that, and maybe even try and get aggressive on Mercy here as Frofsy's loading up big damage. Power Infusion is now available. Combustion about to come off cooldown. Void Form coming up in 30 seconds. It could be a big opportunity for them to close the game. Maybe a Shaman swap. We see Lontar Fleshcraft anticipating crowd control, and it will immune it with the ultimate form. Nice play by Lontar, realizing, hey, I'm going to have to run out in the middle of the map. I need to be immune to crowd control. Triple fear. Nice punish by Mercy. Really tearing into Frofsy, trying to get a kill before dispersion, but not able to find enough damage. Pre-Earthen Wall Totem on Mercy during the stun lock, but Mercy actually opts to just leap out of it. not feeling comfortable. And now Valet is going to have to fade. He's very low on health as well. Lone Tar has to recover 2 players with no Ascendance. Quite a difficult task to do, 6 seconds away from it. Hex spam on Morrow. That will shut down a lot of damage, buying the time that Lone Tar needs with Healing Tide Totem down. This team should begin to stabilize. Prep Asgrath is going to try and sneak away for a drink. He's off in the side here behind that box. And yes, realizing that this game could go the distance. Warrior Shadow Priest, very durable combination of classes. So wanting to make sure that they're ahead on mana for a late game opportunity is a wise idea on the part of Skill Cap DU.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Mercy still under fire just a little bit right here. And we can see a disarm on Asgrath. They're trying to make a setup here over onto Morrow, potentially punishing him a little bit. I think it was a beautiful altar time there by Morrow, keeping himself nice and healthy during that crowd control. Asgrath now has a moment to top him off. Let's see if he can do it. Delay repositioning with Lone Tar far away. They want to be away from Morrow, avoid the double Dragon's Breath if they can. Morrow looking for a Polymorph. Actually finds it on Lone Tar. A bit surprised that that was able to land, and now they're doing a big setup. Who are they going after? Actually going after the Shaman. Can they take him down? A huge meteor lands. He might just get dropped, and he does. So unfortunate. They had the rallying cry. Mercy, if he had got that commanding shout off, he might have actually survived. But Skill Cap DU, they make that one look easy. They send them to the lower bracket, and they'll be advancing in. But if we had any questions about this roster, I would say that was a very impressive performance by them.
Yeah, I can't agree more with you on that. And how did Lone Tar get polyed there? That's what I want to see on the replay.
Yeah, he ran back in line of sight. It was kind of a disaster. I want to see if the Warrior was out of crowd control, because if he was, they should have been able to survive that setup.